Welcome to Creepy Crowshaw's Talking About Sex Hour.
I was about to think of a song to sing. You took it away from me.
Shouldn't you be doing that, like, you have to push a button to get the record thing to start. Like, you should do that before you push the button, and then you'd have a song that wasn't like... Because when we sit here and there's just dead silence, I get the feeling that you're waiting for me to do something.
Hello, we're playing Condemned.
Whee! Which is actually a pretty good game.
But we're playing it for a specific reason, because last week I had an idea to add more parameters to this format, where
Sweet, delicious parameters.
I decided to use keywords for future game choices. I took a book from my shelf and I randomly chose a page and I randomly chose a line and randomly chose a word from that line.
I helped.
The book in this case was Richard Dawkins' The God Delusion, and fittingly enough the word was truth. And my task then was to find a game that embodied truth or incorporated truth as a central theme. So my first thought, obviously, detective game. Well, my first thought was to do a trivia game, but that just...
Boy, that would have been fun.
That felt cheap.
Just me and Yahtzee playing You Don't Know Jack for an hour and 10 minutes.
But then, of course, a detective game, a hard-boiled search for the truth. And what better truth-based detective game than one that also centralizes a commitment to a grim, I won't say realism, but a certain amount of confrontational depiction of the underclasses.
Yeah, what would you call that? Like hyper-realism? Like, it's almost...
Well, I'd say the game is far from realistic.
Well,
it's got some really dumb plot elements.
No, I mean, I understand that. That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around, kind of what you'd call it. Visceral, probably, I suppose. I think is the word we came up for. It's just...
Well, I'd use that word to describe the combat, but we'll get to that later.
It's weighty.
That certainly is a very true sort of mechanic. Yeah, this was... You thought this was an original Xbox game. This was actually a very early Xbox 360 game.
I did think it was original Xbox.
And I can see why you'd think that from the graphics.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tad rough.
It's looking a wee bit aged, isn't it?
I suppose that was 8 years ago now.
Anyway, if you're not familiar with the game, we are Special Agent Ethan Thomas, wank wank. And,
ooh, I'm getting too old for this.
At this point, all we know is we're investigating a dirty crime.
The dirtiest.
In a dirty house.
What is the dirtiest of crimes? Like poo murder?
I guess.
I suppose you could do that. You could, like, take a dump, freeze it, and then stab someone with it, and then it would dissolve, and there'd be no evidence.
Except for a load of poo around.
Imagine, like, doing that just so the forensics guy can just slowly realize what's happened.
They go, oh my god, someone had the most drastic diarrhea attack in the history of medicine. It went straight through this guy's chest.
Slowly, it's like, there's no way somebody froze a turd and stabbed somebody else with it. That's bullshit. That does not happen. I refuse to live on the planet where that fucking happens.
Because this was a while back, but it was early enough to have gotten into the habit of cutscenes that are playable, so they can pretend it's not a cutscene. Yeah,
what do you suppose it was about? I mean, was it just timeliness being one of the earlier versions that made Half-Life 2 good, or was there another factor that made Half-Life 2's a little more? Because this one really annoyed me because I'm slow behind this dude, and I don't know. Is it atmosphere?
Yeah.
Is it a matter of writing, or is it a gameplay thing?
I don't know what you're on about, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, what makes a... Because, there's other games that do this sort of cutscene, but not a cutscene kind of routine. Like Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
And people liked it when it was Half-Life 2. Is that just because it was, like, one of the first ones, or...
I'm not sure everyone liked it.
So, you didn't?
I think it is nice to have a bit of a breather in that game. I think what Half-Life 2 does, it does give you a lot of stuff to play around with. And because it is introducing a physics engine into the minds of the populace. It sort of coincides the plot scenes with a lot of opportunities to fiddle around with the background details.
So I suppose that would be it succeeded because it was one of the first at bats and had like a little things to keep you occupied.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 1 to a lesser extent, a lot of the initial scenes basically framed around, hey, look at this cool stuff we made up. Check it out.
Engine.
Have a damn good look. I mean, that was the whole point of the opening monorail ride in Half-Life, so you could see all the fun things they'd done with the Quake engine. And here is a corpse. That's a big-ass phone. That's how old this game is.
It has buttons. What the fuck? Gross.
These mannequins remind me of something. Like the faceless ones.
The ones that you keep in your bedroom?
No. I think I've seen this particular motif somewhere. I can't... My mind is saying Neil Gaiman's Sandman comics.
Fuck, possibly. I don't know, for some reason they're making me think of,
Okay, here's the crime scene investigation aspect. Although it's a bit shit.
Find the cum.
It's a bit shit. It's just find the thing and click on the thing. I think it was much more improved in Condemned 2. With pretty much the only thing that was improved in Condemned 2.
It's a real shame, because I went back and played a little bit of this, and then it kind of... I mean, as much as I did enjoy the kind of hand-to-hand combat system, despite, I think, some flaws, or sort of almost because the flaws contributed to it in a weird way. Like, is there a game that's done decent crime scene investigation stuff?
I'd say Condemned 2 does. I mean, what it does is you have to look at a thing, and then you have to decide what it means from a list of stuff. I think that's the best approach.
Yeah.
I think that's the best approach you can take, because if you fail, you don't like lose the game or anything. But if you do know your stuff, if you do recognise that as a drag mark rather than a splatter mark, then you can get a bit of an advantage.
Oh yeah, I think that's the thing, because ultimately with all these detective things, you're not detecting. You just look. No, you're just interacting with highlighted objects.
Just finding, yeah. I mean, even L.A. Noir's just highlighting objects.
Touch the thing, and they even tell you like, oh, we should go back there. You haven't touched all the things.
Yeah.
That, and pretty much, you only ever really have to doubt every motherfucker.
Well, what you do is you accuse each one of lying in L.A. Noir, because you can back out of that. Because if you accuse them of lying, they say something. If they are lying, they'll say something really, really obvious.
Yeah.
Pertaining
you
to
got something to back that up.
Yeah, they'll say, I bet you haven't got the slightest shred of evidence that I'm married to Hitler. And then you show them the Hitler marriage certificate.
Damn! It's just so charming.
But you can back out of a lie if you...
Can you?
If they don't say something that obviously indicates an item, you can back out of it. You can't back out of doubting or
can you? I don't
truthing.
know. I swear you couldn't back... I don't know.
Any luck on the mug book
Swear you couldn't back out of a lie.
I think the inherent problem with L.A. Noir is that you're asked to try to figure out if someone's lying, but you're looking at a performance from an actor.
Yeah.
So they're always lying.
Well,
so when they're like acting that they're lying, they always look incredibly obviously like they're lying.
Well, that, and it's if you don't have the obvious piece of evidence, just say doubt, and it's like, I think you're full of shit! And they go, ah! And then you get the little happy sound.
Oh, but it can catch you out.
Oh, sometimes. But I mean, fuck all people have ever told, like, the first time I played it, I was like, oh, they have no reason to lie about that. And that was me thinking too hard on it. Because pretty much, it's like, the amount of times you actually say truth in that are fucking few.
Oh, now just a plain old cutscene.
He's right above us.
To highlight that amazing face.
These are very potato-y men.
Ugh.
The problem with Condemned 2 is it just sort of brings everything down a level. Suddenly, like, the main character is no longer Pudgy Potato Man, as he is here, and he's just big, burly, beardy white guy. And, the whole thing running around this game is that it's a mystery what's causing everyone to go insane. And then the second in the game they just go, here's why it happened! It's because there's an evil cult taking over the world, and they've put special hubcaps on the walls that drive homeless people insane. Smash all the hubcaps and win a coconut.
Darkness there and nothing more. Keep it a fucking mystery.
Exactly. It was like, I mean, they did sort of hint at the end of this game that there was sort of like a big cult involved, but I always get disappointed when a big cult's involved.
That's an easy out these days.
I mean, why should a cult have to be made up of really powerful people? A cult that operates out of, you know, a house made...
I've read a lot about cults, I've seen a lot of documentaries on cults, and to be honest, they look mostly just like befuddled dimwits.
If one guy figures out how to make a hubcap that drives people mad, they can, like, drive the city mad just operating out of a basement. It doesn't have to get this whole global cult thing into it.
You really, like, especially if you just have to put these hubcaps up and they start working, like, that's a team of maybe, like, 8 people.
Yeah, just hire a homeless guy.
Yeah, well, you know, just pay a fucking janitor. Hey, buddy, put this up in the office.
Oh, we got homeless. He was coming at me again, you all saw it.
Help, I'm sick, bang.
See, this is the bit where the game goes, it's a shooter, you're alright. Everything will be fine, you have a gun.
Yeah. And these are just scared homeless men.
Yeah, it's probably hopped up on something.
Yeah.
Because aren't they always?
The drugs.
That's your answer to everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Must have been hopped up on something.
Injecting all my welfare dollars, bang.
Someone was strong enough to lift a car, must have been hopped up on something. Because I remember that sort of.
I kind of like that as a method of checking ammo.
Yeah, like you have to look at your clip.
Yeah, I really appreciate a minimalist HUD these days.
You also cannot reload. There is no reloading in this game at all.
Oh, really?
Once your bullets are out, you gotta find something to hit people with.
You don't get another projectile weapon in it?
Well, you do get more guns, but you're limited to whatever ammo's already in it when you
right.
pick it up.
Huh.
Well, I'm
What
getting
am I thinking of then? I swear I could reload in this. Yeah.
getting ahead of us a little bit.
Must be thinking of one. Oh, I might be thinking of Fear or something for some reason.
This is on the same engine as Fear. I ran into some PC troubles getting it running properly, and apparently the same troubles affect Fear.
Fortunately, your mad hack skills.
Yeah, I just edited the config file and disabled HID compliant devices, and all was well.
Amazing.
Homeless
Hack the
guy.
FBI.
I know you're there, homeless guy.
That gun wasn't even really pointing in the same direction as him. It was like...
It's like, you know, Pavlov's dogs with me now. When all the combat ends, I instinctively press reload.
Yeah. Same thing.
Just like checks the
There have
ammo.
been a few games that actually acknowledge that you can't reload with a half-full clip without losing some fucking bullets.
Yeah, apparently, I read in the comments Ghost Ship Aftermath was doing that. I didn't realise. It's one of the many things Ghost Ship Aftermath is a bit quiet about. Hello!
Hey!
I guess he's got places to be.
Meals on Wheels, here to feed the homeless.
Gee, I hope that wasn't the murderer I'm looking for. That would have been awkward.
Shouldn't we get, like, a bunch of other guys to do this? Or, you know, do that thing where
Well, we were supposed
police
to
have backup?
Well, we were supposed to wait for backup in that cutscene, but they said, "Oh no, he's turned the power off. Guess we better find somewhere to turn it back on before the backup arrives, because I don't see any way this could end poorly." I mean, it was fine when everything was lit up, but stumbling into the dark...
Yeah. The last thing you want to do with a bunch of police is just stumble into the dark. That's,
Yeah.
You know, then this is madness. They'll all shoot each other, everything will be sad.
Well, here's the fuse box anyway. Oh. Well, apparently we're such a pussy, we don't expect there to be electricity in fuse boxes, so we dropped our gun. We are the worst FBI agent ever.
Needed that. Pew pew!
Oh
You're
no.
dead.
Oh no, he took it.
And now he'll be mysteriously gone.
Boy, I feel silly. Oh, hey. Back in action.
There is
a lot of, like, environmental melee objects in this game.
Yeah, that and I think like the way the first person, you know, melee combat's a tricky fucking one to nut out.
I know, because a lot of first-person games, the melee weapon is basically just a gun with zero range. You just aim,
just wobble, yeah.
just aim at the center of the screen, press the button, and a bullet hole appears in it. Like Half-Life does that.
Wobble,
but in
wobble,
this,
wobble.
when we find an enemy, we will see that melee combat is actually very, very visceral.
Yeah,
And,
you gotta block. You gotta
yes.
bonk him in the head.
It's very creative, almost.
Yeah, you gotta. There's wind up. There's overswing.
They can feint.
That's yeah.
the annoying thing. They can feint. Haha!
Block. Pipe.
Hey! Oh, there's another guy. And joyfully,
2x4 with nails.
joyfully, this game has monster infighting. So if you can get hobos to smack each other, they will fight each other.
It's pretty easy to get hobos to smack each other, Yazzie.
You don't see much monster infighting in games these days. Everything's also bloody tactical. Everyone's just getting behind cover as soon as they get in the room.
Move forward. Get behind cover. Be like Gears of War.
Let's slow down a bit.
Oh,
Oh, the guy went.
that was deliberate. That was trickiness.
Yeah, so the other thing is that Ethan Thomas, it's hinted that he is special in certain ways. Like he's got some
The
kind
gas
of...
spectrometer is detecting a fart.
Oh yeah, he's got some kind of weird senses that give him an advantage in the field of detecting shit. And
like
a
the
weird
X-Files.
advantage in picking up dead things. Because he's into that. The collectibles in this game are really well hidden. I don't think I've ever found more than a couple.
It's
Because you're looking for like dead birds in the middle of all this filth.
No, not that dead bird. I know, you know, pick up dead bird.
Those aren't dead birds, they're just big rats.
Hello, ratty.
Hey!
Well, at least the crazy homeless have access to healthcare.
Welcome to Obama's America.
Thanks, Obamacare.
All this money we spent on health kits for the homeless, we could have been spending on more guns
Yeah, because
to
now
kill the
look,
homeless with. Now we've got no guns, we've just got planks with nails through 'em.
planks with nails.
You know guns are for cowards, right?
That's what our great-granddads had to kill the homeless with.
Guns are for cowards who don't know how to put nails through a bit of wood.
And bonk someone over the head with it.
Oh yeah, this is another one of the dumb features in this game that the second game thankfully got rid of, is that you need a specific device to smash specific things down. There are sledgehammers, but sledgehammers don't work on these. Sledgehammers only work on padlocks.
See, that's a bit fucking retarded.
I know.
It should be like a category of weapons, like, you know, heavy-end objects or some shit like that. Because, yeah, if a fire axe can get through it, a sledgehammer's probably going to get through it as well.
Well, yeah.
Explosion.
I would say the sledgehammer is the go-to thing for all doors you want to smash down.
I seem to be trapped over here, and
I do like sledgehammers, it is fun.
What?
I bet you do.
The hell did
Big,
that
heavy thing, you swing 'em around.
Yeah, we've basically disappointed the local police.
fire axe and chop your way out.
Oh, thanks, man. Hey!
Find an entry
Ow! Ow!
buried. You can even use things
I now have several shards of glass embedded in my face.
like a great deal of damage like this.
Oh, I'm
So this
telling
is-
Mum.
This is why you're still police and I'm the feds, bitch.
You need the tips. Becker and I'll go around the other way.
Yeah, I don't need the tips, so stop talking so I can leave the cutscene area.
One more thing. If you find yourself in a sticky situation,
Oh yeah, we've got a taser now as well.
temporarily
Hey there, wacky neighbor.
if you're close enough, you'll find it a great way to disarm us.
So you might feel tempted to just spend the whole game with a big axe to smash the hobos with. But these are actually much harder to block and have a much slower swing.
Yeah, that was my little discovery when I was playing through this a little while ago.
Yeah, so it's about balancing speed and damage. I think it's on balance it's best to have a fast weapon.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. Which sucks, because I like my big,
Oh, hey.
yeah, turn off the TV.
Yeah,
That's a metaphor.
That's only the
Think
best
about it.
investigators can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of the subplots is that Ethan Thomas is special because of weird stuff relating to his upbringing, and that's another thing. The
Parents
second
molested him. Psychic powers.
another thing the second game just gives that away straight off. They even give him like a Dragon Ball Z superpower, and it's fucking retarded.
I remember seeing the review.
Hobo.
and- Ah! Office supplies.
Oh, they're breeding now.
I got a little society.
Homeless guy, you're not fooling anyone. I know where you
Hide and
went.
seek with the homeless was one of the city's worst ideas.
Oh, where could he have gone? He was hiding behind that pillar for a second.
He's behind you. Where? All that, and
Ah, you bitch.
he's hitting your face. I kind of wish, you know, there were kill moves where the fucking thing would get embedded in his head, and you'd be like, oh, gotta pull it out now.
Well, you can sometimes see teeth flying away from their faces. Is that enough?
That's pretty badass. Hype.
I like large pipes. Do you like large pipes?
Yeah.
I'd like to lay some pipe. I'm going to lay some pipe right across a hobo's face, and he will say, yum yum, thank you, Mr. Thomas. And I will say, that's Detective Thomas, and lay it again.
And then you'll scream, I'm not a faggot! And punch his teeth out and run away.
Yeah, and then fuck you, Dad.
Cry, and then come back to work on Monday like none of it happened.
It's possible we're extrapolating too much, but that's the point. You could extrapolate at this point because the story was a mystery. That's how we liked it. Evil cults ruin everything. Evil cults ruin Silent Hill games. Evil cults ruined the Halloween movie franchise.
That's the thing, putting a name and a face, organizing something.
I mean, Silent Hill 1 was about evil cults, but I always didn't like Silent Hill 1 as much as Silent Hill 2.
Like, if you give it a name and a face, I can punch it. You know, it's...
Ha ha, in the bollocks.
Ah!
Oh, hey, you want some fun?
Finish him!
Nope, I'll finish him later.
The fuck?
Where's the other one? Where'd the other one go? Oh, there we go.
Ooh. Thrust! Parry! Riposte!
Haha. Is it me, or do they take more damage after you parry them once?
Yeah, I think it's probably, like, there'll probably be a stat buff for, like, you know, like a little bit in, Dark Souls, like you can do the...
Yeah. This is a good melee combat engine. Dark Souls also has a good melee combat engine.
Douche stab.
Always nice to have a good melee combat engine. Although the hitboxes are a bit mad in Dark Souls.
The hitboxes are a bit mad in this. Like, a few of those guys were hitting you in the face when they were a long way away.
Well, hitboxes are always mad in first person.
Yeah.
It's deceptive.
I gotta give you kind of like a bubble that can get hit.
When you're in a first person game, I forget where I read this, I think it was on Jack Monaghan's blog. He was saying
For the unknowing?
he's just like this game designer who occasionally used to do articles on a blog called Design Reboot, which were quite interesting to read.
Yeah.
Because he talked about games and problems with games and how he would have solved them.
So that sounds interesting.
But he makes the case that in a first-person game, you're effectively playing as a character wearing a refrigerator box.
Yeah.
I mean, a character who wasn't wearing a refrigerator box could easily fit through a narrow gap. And also, your perspective is...
Weirdly broad.
yeah.
There's two dudes. That guy parried you.
Right, I'm going to tase you. You are no threat, and I tased you anyway.
You need some fucking health, Home Slice.
Yeah, just let me...
Kill him. That's a fist.
I like doing the punch because he says something just before he does it. It sounds like something like, "Take this, you son of a..."
Huh.
And he just sounds very tired and sick of it.
If there was a homeless guy that attacked me kneeling in front of me like that, I'd scream, "Shining a wizard!" and just knee him in the face.
Yeah, you say that. But these things can happen in an instant.
Dude, I've had vagrants take swings at me.
Yeah. But I bet you never did the thing you just described.
Oh, Lord, no. Because ultimately they're just drunk or a bit mental. Like, the ones that have sort of had a go at me haven't really been what constitute a relevant threat. They're just sort of, like, sad.
Yeah, this game does get a bit samey with its environments, which means it's quite easy to get turned around.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of the point.
Where do you think, like... Because, I mean, there are games when I really fucking hate that and would prefer, like, a glowing arrow or something, or just, like, a pointer.
Well, I think it works for this game because it's based on feeling like you're lost and afraid and trapped with a load of insane drug addicts.
I'm just always fascinated by, like, the kind of event horizon where that goes from, like, an interesting and successful gameplay mechanic to just a fucking bane of...
Oh, I guess that was where I was supposed to go.
How does it feel?
Oh, hey, it's Krista Berg. I very much enjoyed Spaceman Came Traveling, Chris.
I don't know what Krista Berg looks like, so...
Well, never mind.
Get that, then.
Never mind, then.
There's Krista Berg in his trademark prison yellows.
Well, if you'd known it was what Krista Berg looked like, that would have been fucking funny, alright? Just assume that.
Oh, what the fuck?
Cop in the back, aiming his gun, didn't fire after the first shot. Not a well-trained cop, that.
Don't move! I said don't move! Hey, he's moving!
Maybe he was just very tired.
Fucking...
Maybe his old lady was yelling at him.
Well, he is too old for this shit. So, yeah, that's probably what it was.
Someone was.
Every cop that dies on the job is literally too old for this shit.
Favorite weapon, large pipe? You know it!
Oh, so other areas of the city have seen very few dead birds.
Do you think this might be something to do with noisy hubcaps nailed to a wall?
Nah.
Oh, let's not speculate.
Nah. You're just going off on the lunacy there, yeah, I'd say.
Well, shall we talk about something?
Speaking of lunacy, Paul McCartney scores Destiny.
Yeah, we found a topic this time. We weren't sure we had, but you just brought it up out of nowhere, and I thought...
Yeah, I was like, topic?
Hey, this is some...
That's well, yeah.
Topic. Oh, I found a topic,
Topic.
Get the topic, good boy. Yes, there's a good boy.
And then, when I ran back, and Yasser was trying to take it out of my mouth, I wouldn't let him have it, because...
Right, let go. I've got a biscuit here, you're going to have to open your mouth to put the biscuit in.
Always fall for the fucking biscuit.
But anyway, upcoming probably shit game Destiny is going to have a score made by Paul McCartney, and that struck me as weird.
Live and let die. That's all I can do.
Well, I
To
guess
be perfectly honest, I think that was a great fucking song for action.
I think it was good. It is a good song, very memorable. But I don't really associate Paul McCartney with sci-fi.
No, but see, I have a
David
real
Bowie,
soft spot.
David
Yeah.
Bowie, I'd be all over that shit. Maybe like, as we said, Chris de Burgh, he could do it as well.
Space, penetration, cocaine.
Maybe, you know, Journey or something. Something a bit 80s and prog rocky. Led Zeppelin.
There
But
is,
Paul
yeah.
McCartney, fucking Band on the Run. Maybe I'm amazed. I don't. The frog chorus. I don't see it. John Lennon even. John Lennon would have been good for it.
I am the Eggman. He could have had that for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Ha 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 ha. Except it was always Robotnik.
It changed. Someone explained to me that like Eggman's meant to be Robotnik's kid, but then Robotnik's back in like Sonic Boom or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to
people try
go
to-
down the Sonic plot rabbit hole, to be honest.
Sonic fans are weird, and they keep trying to work in the whole Robotnik Eggman thing into canon. I was thinking he used to be Robotnik, then he changed his name, or his first name was Eggman or something. Just accept
Changed his
that.
name to.
Just accept that they changed his name in the West.
He changed his name from Robotnik to like a more local, you know, normal name, so people would stop making fun of him. You know, like Eggman, obviously.
Japanese called him Eggman, the Americans called him Robotnik. That's the explanation. Shut up.
Robotman.
Right. Well, if you missed all that, we're under arrest for shooting those cops with our gun, even though we didn't do it.
Even though,
And we
like,
can't simply explain what happened because
Yeah.
of reasons.
was there like a given reason?
Yeah, like
Use shovel.
I've
Take that.
forgotten the main character's name now. Ethan, whatever his name was, said
Steve, Dave, Williams, Bill, Esquire.
He said, "I'll just explain." And the guy who saved him said, who was supposed to be like an old friend of his dad, said, "Explain what? The truth? They've already decided the truth." And then that's the whole reason to leave and not try to explain yourself.
I guess does that get like sort of built upon?
Well, I
Later in
think
the
it's
game, 'cause-
partly something to do with the conspiracy against you.
Oh, okay, so there is a conspiracy. That's alright.
But I think it's fucking dumb, frankly.
Oh yeah, of course it fucking is. I mean, it's not like the other cops got shot and you vanished. The other cops got shot and you were thrown out of a window. There may have been somebody else there. I'm sorry, I'm an FBI agent. I just got bored one morning, decided to shoot some police and jump out a window.
Yes.
It was me all along. Ta-da.
Just went postal.
Yeah, you know, like that thing that happens like all the goddamn time.
Could have at least checked his hand for powder residue.
You know, anything.
Yeah. One would think the testimony of a trained FBI agent would be enough.
Now they're gonna finally believe a bunch of homeless.
Well, luckily our lab partner believes us,
Yeah.
and
Go, sidekick.
she's going to help us for no reason.
What about the photos?
No, out of Felix board reason.
Okay.
What do you think about celebrity video game music?
I think it's just a way to grab headlines, really.
I think in this case it is. I know one of the guys from Devo did a lot of video game music, but he sort of did it under his regular name, so it wasn't really
Yeah.
like, dude from Devo does this.
The best example is when you don't know. It's like when
Michael Jackson.
Jonathan Coulton did the song for Portal, and the song was just really good, and they didn't have to like make a big song and dance of it before release.
Well, like, wasn't Michael Jackson did music for was it Sonic 2?
This is a weird, unconfirmed rumor.
So I've read it as confirmed that he did it. He just didn't use his like name.
I'm not sure what the story was.
Because I believe that. Because he wrote he did do the Bartman and Deep Deep Trouble, I think.
Yeah.
And he was like, he had this thing about like just during that period of like making music in ways that he hadn't before. So I completely buy that he did, because you know him and Sega had a weird partnership going. Like they did like the Moonwalker game.
Yeah.
So I this is one that I believe. I think that he did, because the music of Sonic 2 is fucking great. The music from Sonic generally is pretty
I'd have
good.
thought he'd have. Well, yeah.
What's that cave song that we like? Was it Crystal Caves?
Mystic Cave.
Mystic Caves.
Bow, 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 bow,
That song
bow, bow.
rules. I can jam out to that. Great.
I
Say
think
jam out because I'm a 55-year-old man.
there's a guy.
Get a job! Is your resume in order?
If it's anything like your teeth, then I guess not.
This kind of reminds me of that... Alright. Oh.
Oh, smacking it with the crowbar wasn't the right thing to do. So it's confusing. Sometimes when the hand symbol appears, it means press use, and sometimes it means press attack. Bad interface design. Oh, hey, a man. And another man.
Yeah.
Why did it kill the guy in behind?
That was great. Like, he wasn't even really attacking. He was just like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?"
I'm gonna call you guys the Blues Brothers.
Faces are all smashed in now.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah. I need some facial reconstructive surgery from God.
Swap out for large pipe. I still like the large pipe.
Rock the pipe.
Another thing I like about this game is that quite a lot of these doors you can open, even though they don't go anywhere.
I like that. Like, the one thing that really, it's small and it's trivial, and it fucking bugs me when the whole world is just a bunch of doors I can't open, except the ones where you have to go here. Like, put shit there, put some extra ammo, put some fucking fluff text, fucking have me, have a world that feels like it's fucking real.
You must get very annoyed by Silent Hill games. It looks like this lock is broken. It looks like this lock is broken. It looks like this lock is broken. It looks like this lock is broken.
Silent Hill's a little... Like, Silent Hill goes for that lack of realism, exactly, though. Like, there's a sort of psychological thriller element that means, the world around you is suspect.
Yeah, it's like you're being, especially in Silent Hill 2, it's like you're being herded by the very world itself.
That's, like, I really get that... Like, again, it's not a universal thing, but in a game... I'm trying to think of ones where it's really fucking stuck out, where it's just... I feel like I should be able to go through these, or I feel like there should be like a, well, you found some health, or look, a trinket.
But I am innocent.
I know that. You must prove that. One more thing.
Speaking of celebrities on games, David Bowie did the score for a David Cage game.
Who's David Cage?
Heavy Rain.
Oh, right,
Beyond
there we
Two
go.
Souls.
No, I know the name, I just couldn't remember who.
His earliest game, back when he was still bound by the obligation to actually make a fucking game, was the Nomad Soul. And David Bowie worked on it.
Oh, that's nifty.
Famously.
What was Nomad Soul on? PC?
Yeah, PC, I think. I'm not sure if it had a console release. I don't seem to remember it having one.
Move object, Yahtzee.
Yeah, there's a thing you can... Aha! A crowbar.
A crowbar.
Or you'll have that.
Was a crowbar hidden there because there's a power box you have to fidget around somewhere?
Possibly.
Because I get that feeling like... You remember in Duke Nukem how there were weapons you needed for certain circumstances, so whenever you went into one of those little box areas, they'd just be like, oh, look, a sniper's rifle's here for some reason.
Yeah. Well, mind you, that's a lot of games, isn't it?
Yeah, that's bad design to me. Like, that annoys me. Let me carry a bunch of shit or figure out your game better.
The problem with games is they have this sort of arena mentality and very little continuity. It's like you get all your health, after every combat scene you get all your health back and all the weapons you need are just found on the scene. And I don't like that. I sort of liked Half-Life where you get through a scene, like scrape through on 20 health and then you'd have to stay extra alert to stay alive for the next few bits. It didn't just reset every 2 seconds. That's one of my modern game design gribbles. I have many, as you know. So,
yeah, that was weird. Like, the way regenerating health started out as like an attempt at more realism, and then it just went batshit.
Hell, getting health back, healing an injury very quickly is never going to be realistic. You might as well just accept that.
I mean, well, picking up a med kit and to get your health back stupid. It's like, you're not Wolverine, though. I don't understand how that idea was the better alternative.
I mean, if you've been shot 3 times, there's no way you're going to be back in action immediately, are you?
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen.
Everyone who comes back from war just spends like 30 minutes at the VA hospital. Their wounds are healed.
Maybe we should treat it like Rogue Legacy. Like, the moment anyone gets injured in the slightest way, they just go, oh, well, guess for me, the war is over. And then you just switch control to the next guy in the boat.
A bit like Zombie U.
Yes, quite a bit like Zombie U. I guess that's why I like roguelikes now, because you can do that sort of thing.
I don't really play an awful lot of those.
Like where you have a lasting injury and you're just stuck with it.
Yeah!
Hello. What's that you got there? Was it a gun? I don't think it was it? Smart guy. Nice shades.
He stole those from the guy from Deus Ex Human Revolution. Adam Jensen.
It must have been hard to steal them.
Well, he didn't steal them off him. He left them on a coffee table and he sort of just...
Well, they were built into his face, famously. Hey, where'd that guy get a gun from?
The right to arm homeless.
Someone's been embezzling health kit money.
Charlton Heston's been here. The NRA came through on, and everybody deserves a weapons sweep.
You know, being able to continue smacking on a corpse after death, that's one of the many things games should embrace more.
Life's little pleasures. I like when you do it and they, you know, fall apart into, like, further layers of jibs.
Dance, ragdoll, dance!
Just being able to splatter the head and...
Hitting people with the butts of guns is one of the worst melee weapons. I guess that's to motivate you to look for more improvised weaponry.
Yeah.
When you
Well, I
run
mean,
out
it
of
can't be
bullets.
like a, you know, a projectile weapon can't be like a great fucking, you know, you can't have a shotgun that then turns into an excellent melee weapon.
Well, no.
It'd be... There was a sledgehammer back there.
I know, I'm just checking the corners. Like a good FBI infiltrator.
FBI...
Check the corners.
Yeah.
Check the corners.
Yeah. Peekaboo! Eyes.
Eyes usually mean... Yes, a collectible plate. Not that kind of collectible plate.
That's weird.
Overkill.
Yes, yeah. You can bonk it with the butt of the sledgehammer.
Oh, I keep forgetting about the hilarious kick.
Really?
Well, next time we have to hit something, we will experience the hilarious kick.
Well, this will be fun. I have something to look forward to.
Yeah, you got a couple of things you can fall back on in this. You got your taser, and you got your mighty boot.
Boot!
I assume there was a door we needed a sledgehammer to open, but I can't
Presumably,
don't remember.
or a bit of... I'm guessing it's going to be a bit of soft wall.
Nah, sledgehammers only smash padlocks off doors, I think.
Ah, that's weird.
Like I said, it's a bit of silly, very silly bit of design.
I mean, given that we're talking about things like this, we could go on to a question. What is your in-depth opinions on modern-day shooters compared to old-school shooters like Call of Duty, compared to Doom by Jake LaPonda?
Oh, we kind of already answered that, haven't we?
Well, yeah, but I think we could get into maybe, like, because we were talking about the regenerate. I think the regenerating health is a bit, particularly for the tactical shooters, a bit stupid.
I think it's detrimental.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, I like ones that preserve continuity rather than games that just reset every 2 seconds.
Well, that means you just have to hide, you know? Like...
Yeah, you just have to, like, stand behind a bit of wall for 2 seconds.
Yeah. So it makes
if
combat such a low-risk environment.
I mean, there has to be, like, something active. So, like, if we could do something active to get our health back, like take a chance, run out into the open to grab the health kit that's over there.
If it's a squad shooter and, like, your health doesn't regenerate, but you still take damage pretty severely like you do in, like, a regular game, have, like, a healing guy who's sort of, you know, he has to run around and sort of be helping other people. So you got to find him, you know, you got to communicate with him, you have to have an idea about what your team's doing, you have to go, hey, I need some fucking health.
I remember writing an article once where I was saying, just make us do something. Even if it's just running around in circles to get your health back, just walking it off, at least that's something you have to do.
Hold the Wii U gamepad up to your mouth and go into it. I'm pretty sure you can open that door. That looks openable or something. There we go.
How's that? The symbol only appears when you look at a specific part of the door.
Look at the knob, Yahtzee.
I don't want to look at
the knob.
I don't want to look at your knob. Hey, I guess we have to go this way, huh?
Hey, that TV was for everybody.
I know you're there. I heard you cough.
Honestly, I don't hate the modern shooters. I just don't like that they were... You know how, like, we just get into fads?
Tee-hee.
And it's just like, oh, now the fucking Modern Warfare is popular. Every game that comes out is going to be like that. That's just kind of irritating.
It's interesting how Modern Warfare is kind of...
The pick poster child for it.
Boutique!
You're not hitting him. He faked it. Sledgehammer. Oh, there's blood on the sledgehammer.
Well, I wasn't faking it, bitch.
That's cool. A little stomp and everything. In my mind, I want all the other cops to come around.
You can even do it.
Oh, badass.
Whoop-ha!
That takes flexibility.
Whoop-ha! Potato Man's got some moves.
Wu-Tang! Like, the other cops come around the corner and you're just stomping a homeless guy screaming, I'm innocent!
I'll just leave that unconscious body with a sledgehammer. I'm sure that will... oh, I forgot we needed it.
I was going to say, I think if you hit a person in the face full swing with a sledgehammer, they're not getting back up.
Well, these are hopped up on some serious drugs.
They're crazy. They have the power of crazy.
I remember in the intro to Watchmen, where they had the two detectives saying, "Oh, this person must have been thrown against that window. That must have taken some serious drugs."
Yeah.
Like, surely there's a limit to how much physical strength drugs can bestow upon you.
The human body can do a lot more than we can do generally because it damages the body.
Well, I figure that.
But yeah, like you can actually, like you'd be able to, you know, pick me up and throw me out a window, but it would fuck your body up. Like your arm tendons would be screwed after it and stuff like that. And there are drugs that'll, you know, sort of work you up to that extent. I mean, I've seen some great, like you can find videos on the internet.
Suppose I'd be lucky if I tried to pick you up and throw you out a window. I'd lucky I didn't herniate every organ in my body, you fat bastard.
I'd just land on you, just like, I'm not your fat bastard anymore. Jim's your fat bastard.
Someone's jealous.
Yeah, I got fat jealousy. This is fat privilege.
Thomas,
I've been passed over for a better fat guy.
How am I getting a signal down here?
You know, the hubcaps actually accidentally really well boost mobile signals.
So, yeah, I mean, the modern war is getting more and more discredited as a genre for shooters. There's been a lot of World War II shooters again, with Enemy Front and Wolfenstein.
again with the
I guess
instincts.
everyone's sort of running back to the comforting war zone.
Yeah,
The
well,
one that's less morally ambiguous.
because honestly, I enjoy both styles. It's not that there's two different styles. It's that we, you know, fucking
Well, what
everything
I-
becomes fad, and when there's a fad, that's all they fucking make.
Well, what I didn't like about modern warfare games, where you generally play as like an American soldier or something, is that just from a storytelling perspective, having the full support of the biggest military force on Earth seems pretty bad for storytelling.
Biggest military force on Earth by a mile.
There was a safe back there, and a crowbar will open it.
Oh, good thing there was a crowbar right nearby.
Yes, player training.
Remind me to never buy that brand safe.
Gimme.
Like that's the point of a safe. Is it's meant to be at least crowbar proof. Oh,
Well,
well, at least a crowbar won't get into this.
Well, that explains why this whole place was condemned then, doesn't it? Because the safes are so shit.
Never trust this again.
Do you want to pick us out another question?
Fart spectrometer. Well, I think to finalize my answer, I think that it is fine that there's both. It's just when all that we get release after release is one style. So I mean, we're switching back now. Like, I mean, I haven't played Wolfenstein, but I heard that's a little bit more like.
There have been times of greater creativity, though.
Well, that's a bigger conversation than just first-person shooters. You missed.
See,
You didn't miss.
See, the gun's at a weird angle. It's hard to tell
Yeah.
what you're actually going to be shooting.
And there's no little crosshair because that's not realistic.
I've only got the one shell left now.
Save
Better.
it for yourself.
Better make it count.
Yeah, because I mean, right now we're going. You know, it looks like we're going back to sort of a bit more.
Ah, ha, ha, ha. Birdies for me. I'll have that for my breakfast.
You know, like a hungry
See,
dog.
there was 6 birds in the last level. We only found 1.
Yeah, can you just have your mass spectrometer out all the time? Like, is that the way you can do it, or does it only sort of pop up when there's something nearby?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an audio cue, but we got the sound down, so the mics don't pick it up.
All right.
So we're probably missing out on the atmosphere a bit. But whatevs.
whatever.
It'll still be there on the finished video.
Okay, how about this one? What would you like to dress as?
Who asked the previous question, by the way? Did you
I
say?
said Jake LaPonda.
Okay.
Said after I asked the question.
I just don't. I have a really bad memory for names. They just go straight out my ear. People say, my name is Duvle.
My name is.
Okay, I totally absorbed that.
And then you just go, can I have sex with you? And then they don't talk to you anymore.
Because when people are telling me their name, my usual thought is, why is this person still talking to me? Why are you still
What the-
alive? Man, he's got like the double strength drugs.
Best drugs, yeah.
Aha!
That was pretty badass.
is-
That was like, yeah.
That is quite a fast block. I can't beat the 2x4 though. Hey,
Those two were fighting.
bit of a domestic with the missus.
Okay, so this one is, what would you
Papa.
like to dress up as to go to Comic-Con if you had unlimited resources?
Well, you know
by
what?
Caius Casades.
You've brought this up a few times. Why don't you say what you'd like to dress me up as? Because you seem to have several ideas.
Well, I mean,
on
the
that
obvious
front.
one is, oh, that's weird. I just forgot his name. I forgot who I am and where I live.
Suppose-
Freeman.
Those platelets again,
you know, the obvious one's Gordon fucking Freeman, because you look a bit like him, and you hate talking to people. So...
Yeah, got an excuse not to talk to them then, don't you?
Okay, do the... hit him.
Not sure what he did there.
Kind of shoved his head into the ground, but it looked sort of wonky and dumb.
Yeah.
I just kick him in the neck.
I'm pretty sure there was another one running around.
Yeah, I don't know. Next time, do the kick one. I want to see the kick one. Well, I mean, unlimited resources. I don't know. See, part of the joy of costumes for me is making them from shit. You know, I kind of like that. Like, I like the costumes that you can see the handcraftedness of it. I have people who do it like pro, and don't get me wrong, it's impressive, but it's impressive for different reasons.
You should cosplay as Ricky Gervais's cartoon character self from the cartoon version of the Ricky Gervais show.
What was it? Someone said I look like pro wrestler Ricky Gervais, which I actually thought was hilarious.
Possibly.
Okay, other things that you could dress up as. There have been some good ones.
Sometimes they hit you while they're recoiling.
Oh, that's great. He smacked his friend. Haha, dumbasses.
Go on, hit each other.
Stop hitting me!
Ha ha. Oh. I was hoping that would go on a bit longer.
Now
Where
he's
are you
going
going?
off to explore.
I think you need to cool off. In Stickland.
Oh, do it. Okay, wait. Find a... Okay, that's stupid. Ram, snap, stab. Try snap. That sounds fun.
Oh, he just snaps his neck.
Yeah.
That's the standard move. Everyone does that. Well, it takes a tremendous amount of physical strength, though, doesn't it? Just twist a person's head around. The spine's not some weak sauce bone.
Depends on how you have him. Like, if you have him like a full sleeper with your arm around, you can kind of just, like, twist your body. Apparently, like, that's, you know, what people who...
Bane did it with his hands, but he was a fucking monster truck of a man.
It's hard to tell, because some things are, like, weirdly, frighteningly easy. Like, if you get hit in the jaw, like, if you hit someone in the jaw, they will fucking drop. It's insane, and it's weird, like, it's just fucking mental, so...
I've heard it's surprisingly easy to pop someone's kneecap off.
Yeah, it gives me the willies. I was at cross-country once, and I saw this really fat dude running, and he had finished, like, just doing a run, and was actually sitting still, and then as he was standing there, his knee just went, well, I'm done, and just shot out to the right-hand side. And I was just looking at him, too. Like, I was looking at this huge, like, because he looked kind of like Juggernaut, and he was sweaty and standing there, so I was like, well, look at that. And then his knee just went, no, and just gave out. It's the fucking nuttiest goddamn thing.
Oh, did you see the weightlifter?
I've seen loads of things like that. I gotta stop looking at that shit. It's,
I think he was representing Hungary in the Olympics. His arm just went other way.
Yeah.
It was quite haunting to watch.
I don't know, see, most of the characters I'd like to dress up as are kind of simple anyway. So, my Ryu one is very basic.
Yeah, you used to dress up when you were on the door, didn't you?
That was fun.
You had a naked snake costume.
That was probably
as well.
the one I spent a bit of money on, but that was, like, apparently tax deductible. Although I don't think I even bothered doing that by the end of it.
Well, you could hardly pull it off. I forgot I was supposed to be grabbing something here.
Probably pull it off a little better these days now that I'm not gloriously fat. And yeah, I'd like to dress Yahtzee up as a variety of things, basically, because he just grumbles about it. And I think, especially the Gordon Freeman one, I think would suit you. Maybe just with the lab coat. Like, before all the nonsense, Gordon Freeman.
Well, I have a full beard now.
Yeah.
Freeman only has the circle beard. So what's sometimes known as the door knocker.
Is that its official name?
That
know. Sounds like sort of a colloquial sort of...
That's what I call it.
Because I know beards all have, like, official names from the, International Institute of Beardry in Sweden.
I have the full beard, but also shave the neck, because you have
Nobody
to take...
likes a neck beard.
At least take some pride in your appearance. So you can always tell when the difference between a proper, intentional sculpted beard and someone who just can't be asked to shave properly. I still shave, like, just below my jaw.
And holy Jesus, Yahtzee does not want to look like that in the second category.
Where the hell am I going? I'm looking for an axe for these doors. I think that's just the way I came.
I'd like to address, like, the news thing, because someone was complaining, it's like, talk about news. And it's like, okay, but see, here's the problem.
Okay.
Like, take the Mass Effect thing, right? Like, the dude just left Mass Effect, or
Yes.
BioWare.
A dude just left BioWare who was in charge of Mass Effect story or something.
And
I
that's
don't know.
the news.
Seems like responsibilities divided on that property.
The thing is, like, it's like when games are announced. The two things we can... Here's how me and Yahtzee would respond to a game being announced. I'll say, that sounds interesting. Yahtzee will complain about that, and then say, it sounds shit.
I'll say, fuck you for saying that sounds interesting.
Yeah, but then you just say it sounds shit. Like, it was what you said before about Destiny. You have no idea what Destiny's going to be like. You're just like, it's probably shit.
I know enough.
So I'll be cautiously optimistic, and you'll be pessimistic, and then that's kind of the end of the conversation.
I know that it's a brown corridor shooter made by the creators of Halo.
Not brown. Brown.
You've done that joke.
Have I?
Yes. What's it a reference to, anyway?
Simpsons.
I don't remember that.
It was from...
There it is.
Ah.
Ladder? Fuck ladders. I'm fucking Ethan Thomas, special agent.
Adventure!
You.
So it's a matter of, like, what we can functionally talk about, and also what we haven't done probably a dozen times
because we may have noticed we tend to fall back on the same topics a lot.
Well, I don't think it's because we fall back on them. I think it's because, you know, a lot of the time they just engage these similar things. Like, the things that bubble up into the news cycle these days are very similar. Because they're, you know, there's a pattern to clickbait. There's a pattern to getting morons to click on shit and squabble in fucking comment threads for...
I'm suspicious by that door opening. I was right to be
suspicious. Here come friends! Coming to your oh.
And there goes friend.
Come on, Smack and Larry.
Where are you going?
Just away.
Don't faint.
This is amazing to watch. Oh, you got him. Oh, snap.
Are we snapping him now? That's how we deal with lawbreakers.
That was someone's child once.
In the future.
Do you collect anything? Asks Jonathan Bellina.
No. Do you?
Ooh, he was angry. You're not good at this, buddy.
Ow. Ow.
Ow. Dude, you gotta fucking not... Oh!
Oh, piss flaps. See, things turn around on you quick in this game.
What douche?
Oh, well.
That guy's badass. He gets promoted to head bum.
Well,
there's some health right there, too. Silly.
Ah. He was miles away.
That is some amazing range.
I should use the taser.
I was gonna say, you should have saved the taser for, like, Ultra McBadass.
I'm gonna ram you.
Headbutt.
Death kiss.
I once tried to collect comic books. That sent me a bit insane. Tase him.
When you say collect comics, did you actually collect them, or did you just buy them and not get rid of them?
I sort of actively went, hey, I enjoy these. This can be a hobby. I could collect comic books. The problem is when I engage that kind of, dude, this guy is whooping you.
I think it's because he's black.
Tase him. Well, they do.
Hey.
This guy's the star of this game now. You're like the B team. This guy's.
Hey.
Fucking hell.
He's taking a lot of punishment. Jesus
die.
Christ.
He's gonna get you again. Yes. You fucking wanker.
I hit him like 50 times.
Okay. Maybe get a different weapon.
Do you think they get their health back if you don't keep hitting them?
I don't think so. I don't think it's been demonstrated. It's okay, save the taser. Save the fucking taser.
Okay.
Well, I mean, dude, this guy is... And that was an even fight. Like, the last... You healed up twice, and that guy fucking pantsed you.
See, I've got this guy down.
Yeah. Ow!
Okay, pipe does more damage, so I'll have that. I heard that.
Can't hide from me!
Ha! Coitus interruptus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you figured out.
You're gonna get tricky.
In the bollocks.
Why would you kick him? You gotta fucking get some...
Because
snap his neck!
What haven't we done? Let's do Super Punch again.
Alright.
Right.
I don't really have any collections, because I get a bit mental about it. You know, it bugs me when I don't have all of something, it's just that thing, so I don't engage that.
I collected sweet wrappers when I was a kid, but again, just because I couldn't be bothered to throw them away.
That's different to collection.
I told myself it was a collection, though. I'd unwrapped them all really carefully.
Collection of sweet wrappers and cum-covered socks.
Probably doesn't count as a collection if you just got 500 of the same sweet.
When I get to 1,000, I win a prize.
I like Mars bars. What?
You and sweets.
Hey, you got an axe as well.
Ooh, lady bum.
You're a woman bum.
A derriere. A lady bum is a derriere. You already have a fire axe.
I think that's a very patronizing view. Whee!
Damn it, now I thought about the time I saw that lady bum's vagina.
Stop talking about lady bums. Be egalitarian, just call them bums.
Well, because it was nuts, because...
Ugh.
Like, Fortitude Valley has a lot of just kind of like, you know, bums and like winos and whatnot wandering around.
Way too slow to block with.
Did a weird little pirouette there. You need the axe to open that door bit.
I knew I was in here for a reason.
Pull the lever! You pulled the lever! Progress through the story. And as I'm walking up the street, there's another human walking down. So I just look up to look at them and acknowledge shared humanity. You know, that's just the sort of thing you do. And as I look up and I look at her, she looks at me and she's got this kind of vacant look on her face. And then, with seemingly no force whatsoever, her pants just go whoop and just drop straight down. Just to her ankle, just like there was just nothing. There was like a single string holding them up and some ghost just cut them.
What an eccentric lady.
Yeah. I also saw a crazy homeless lady in a Dreamcast t-shirt just pissing in the street once.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
And that was like... That was the death of the Dreamcast right there.
The perfect advertisement. We did discuss that.
Did we? When was that? We've been doing these for a while now.
Yeah, it was
when
a while.
Did we start the first thing was like... That was like 3 years ago.
Well, we haven't been doing Let's Drown Out for more than a year.
Let's drone on.
Question time.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Let's see. Why do people ask us about, like...
That bird's not
civil
quite
wars
dead. Soon fix that.
Interesting.
I'll bite its head off when I get home.
Where do you think Game of Thrones succeeds where standard fantasy fails by James Blanchard?
Less black people.
I don't like the Negroes in my fantasy.
Well, I remember there was an article, like today, about George R. R. Martin defending the fact that there's less minority representation. In a sense. I thought, you know, like...
Fucking imbeciles.
They do have, like, different countries. They're just all white guys.
Well, no, I mean, you know, the people from Dawn are, like, kind of like Spanish.
Yeah, that's...
And, like,
more
the
sort of
Onion
swarthy.
Knights, yeah, the Onion Knights pirate friend, whose name I can't remember. He's
Salvador-san.
Salvador-san, there we go.
I'm surprised that I knew that.
Yeah, and you knew that aggressively. You like Salvador.
But he's cute.
Fair enough. He is. He has a good sense of humor. I like his thing about, like, how he wanted to fuck Cersei. He's like, what, so you can rape a queen? And he goes, not rape. I said, fuck. And he was very specific. Like, he wasn't, you know, it was going to be nice. She was going to, you know, he was going to seduce her.
Yeah.
Which, given Game of Thrones, is actually a real step in a progressive direction, I think.
If you say so. There is quite a lot of rape going on in it, though.
Yeah, that's, you know...
Do we take the crowbar on the off chance there'll be something that needs it, and take the
just go
slower
forward,
weapon?
it'll, you know, there's a thing that needs a crowbar, you can just walk back and probably get
Fine.
lost along the way.
Fine.
I'd say...
Oh, what's around here? Oh, a building in a room in a
Fucking
condemned
dude with
building.
a shotgun.
And a shotgun man. Hey, I'm in
That's
cover.
not a good... That's not... That guy just...
That's
Alright,
what
that
shotgun users get.
That guy just fucking popped a shot off while he was turning?
Jesus Christ.
Fuck, man, that sucked. That was badass.
Well,
Cleaved him straight in the side of the head.
I think I might just press my little quick save key now.
I'd say Game of Thrones succeeds because it's not... Okay, Game of Thrones starts after the happily... Oh, hey, health.
Yes.
Starts after Happily Ever After and shows the deconstruction.
Fuck.
Shows how things get back to shit after the good guys won. And I think that's a fascinating area to start.
There's no such thing as Happily Ever After, is there?
And also because it's character-based. That's as simple as that. There are interesting characters.
It's almost analogous to modern history from the Second World War onwards, isn't it?
And they're not like... You know, it's... A lot of fantasy worlds are caught up in their world and their mythos. Whereas this one is really just, it's all
mainly,
about...
yeah, it's mainly character-based.
Yeah, and that's fucking interesting. And
all
there's a
about
variety of characters, you know...
I do hate a plot that hinges on happenstance.
Yeah.
I prefer a plot that hinges on people making decisions.
And there are consequences for those decisions that become pertinent later. And
yeah, that's why I didn't like Tomb Raider. It just seemed like Lara Croft was the universe's chew toy. Floor's just going to collapse under her for a laugh. She never
exciting scene.
She was never given a choice whether or not to do something. It was always, you have to do that or you're fucked. And I like Spec Ops: The Line because it's all about the choices the main character makes and how they start his descent into darkness.
Darkness. Yeah, I gotta get around to buying that.
Yeah, it's been on sale quite a few times, I think.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, I couldn't tell. Like, there are a lot of things that sound and look like Spec Ops: The Line, and I didn't want to buy one of the fucking retarded knockoffs.
Well, if it helps, think of it. It's called The Line.
Oh, I've already I've located it. It's on my wish list.
Well, if anyone else is having trouble remembering, it's called The Line because it's about crossing it. It's about crossing the line.
Yeah.
That's how you remember. I mean, it might seem like a generic title.
Well, no, but
that's
you know what I mean.
about.
Like shitty fucking developers will create shitty knockoff games and then call it The Line Between or some crap like that just to trick poor boobs into buying it.
I wouldn't think they'd do that with Spec Ops: The Line much. It wasn't a massively popular thing. It was more of a critical darling.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Okay, what we
I'm
doing
looking forward
now?
to playing that.
Well,
But
play
yeah.
it then.
I mean, I remember watching, talking about season 1 of Game of Thrones when I first watched it, because I came to it late, because, like a lot of other people, I just wasn't really into fantasy, and that was how it was billed to me originally. It was like, it's a fantasy. I'm like, I don't care. And then I finally sat down and watched the first episode, and I was like, that was pretty good, so I watched the second episode, and I was like, oh, that was pretty good too. And then I watched all 10 episodes in a row. And
What do you need, scanning device?
maybe go, oh, what?
Okay, it's just
we go.
specifically that bit.
And it's just interesting things happening to interesting people in interesting ways.
Yes, I mean, it almost doesn't matter that it's fantasy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, it really fucking doesn't. And it's like so much of what goes on in a weird, in a bizarre fucking way has relatability, despite the, dragons and other assorted bizarreness going on.
Oh, I hope we can play as far as this pukey bit.
Vomit.
I like first-person puking.
You should make like a vomit sim for Oculus Rift.
There's a bit of that in Outlast, after someone chops your fingers off. Which is a good time to be puking, I think.
Outlast isn't a bad game, I like Outlast.
It's quite good. It's better than Daylight, at any rate.
Which one's Daylight?
The shit one.
Huh, I have to look that up because I can't even think of it.
Yes. Look that up and then don't play it.
This is shit, don't touch it.
Yeah, another question.
Don't touch the poo. Well, okay, I don't know, you wrote these questions down. At what point does it become time for a nation to intervene in another nation's civil war? By Tenny Rosenblum, who seems to have mistaken us for the UN.
Yeah.
We're not the UN, right?
What the hell do I know? I think it has become time for that to happen when the great wolf riding across the sky in its chariot of baloney.
Going by Australian military history, literally whenever anyone asks us to. Like, feel like joining a war that has nothing to do with you? Yeah. Fuck it.
Hey.
Sounds like a laugh.
Who was that guy? And why was he important? I don't know. I don't care.
Well, he's dead now.
Is it pukey time? I think we're going to have some pukey time. I don't know why I'm so excited for this. It's one of the few things I remember about the game. Yay! My face exploded.
Underwhelming.
Hey, I remember you. Why didn't you change out your prison slacks, you madman?
Yeah.
Oops, that was the kick button.
I thought he was getting his leg over. Oh, there we go. Alright, yeah.
I'm such a fat potato man.
That can do a fucking head height side kick.
It's weirdly selective, isn't it?
Those are fucking hard. Like, those are not easy. You're not allowed to just...
Oh, I'm out of bullets. Should probably pick up a better weapon, shouldn't I?
Just smack him with the little... Smack him with the gun. Oh, yeah,
Opa! That's gonna be ours. No, I'm sure.
there'll be something along here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, the dude threw an office chair. Why can't you just pick up a whole office chair?
You should intervene in another country's civil war when your own citizens are threatened, I guess. That's the rule.
I mean, I'd say maybe when there's no more country to speak of.
But
like
I guess
if
there's
it's,
I guess there's a lot of interpretation to the phrase "when your own
Here's the thing, like, everyone's
are
looking for,
threatened.
like, a hard and fast rule. You can only act and then deal with, you know, take responsibility for the consequences. That's it, like...
I mean, who's to say, like, a terrorist regime won't come and attack our country from the, like, fallen nation?
Terrorism.
I mean, is it
ISIS will take over Brisbane.
Is it better to support a regime as long as it's basically keeping order going? I mean, because
That was the US's attitude toward Egypt for ages.
I'm gonna have your pipe. The emasculation is complete. Poof.
Oof.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we set up next week's video?
That's...
I want you to go to the bookshelf and choose a book.
I thought I was going to do truth as well.
No, let's keep it interesting. We each gets a
Loose
different word.
definition of interesting, but alright.
Well, I think I've... Oh, I can't collect them now.
God fucking damn it, because that would have been it. Like, you'd have been done.
Fucking tease.
You'd have had all the birds.
Damn it, I wanted the birds.
Just imagine like a KFC worker running through, scrabbling them all up.
So yeah, I think this is the pretty definitive game that embodies truth. I don't want to put you through the trauma of having to come up with something better.
Okay, well, for anyone else who was wondering, I was going to do the SNES game True Lies.
Huh. Still bollocks there. Gabriel's going over to the bookshelf, which is not within grabbing range, and he's just pick a random book.
That's what I'm fucking doing.
Well, you look like you were thinking about it.
Well, you have some comics here. I don't want to accidentally grab a fucking comic. Alright,
You're not on the mic. Stop conversing with me.
It might pick it up. Okay, I've got a book.
Okay, come back round then. Get back on the mic. Oh, well, guess what he's picked up, viewers? He's picked up,
Go on, guess! Guess! Assholes.
Time's up. It was Game of Thrones, which I bought a while back for an airplane ride and never got around to finishing.
Okay,
So I guess we can
I just
expect...
open at a random page.
I guess we can expect the word will be rape next week. I flutter through it and I'll say stop.
God, I hope it's not.
Are you doing it?
Fluttering.
Stop. Now trace a finger down the page and I'll say
which
stop.
page? The left or the right?
Either one. Stop.
Woman.
That'll do. That's your homework assignment. You must think of a game that embodies woman as a concept. Don't like say anything now. Just let's keep people guessing. And you on the comments, keep asking questions for next time.
Well, here's an idea. Also suggest news items.
Yeah. Well, probably won't know them straight away.
Well, I'm content to, have a flip through and read about a thing.
Possibly.
It's good to keep my research skills.
Ah!
You disturbed that guy, to be fair.
I want your weapon. I'll wait for my taser to come back. Ow.
Okay, do you not have a weapon?
Well, I think... Oh, fuck it.
Dude, he developed an immunity to tasers.
I think you can take their weapon when they're tased. Fuck it, this will do. I don't need your axe.
Come here. Every enemy in this game. Oh, dude.
Bollocks. Well, that'll do for that'll,
What's that lady?
I don't know. I guess it's your mum.
Yeah, it is.
You are dead.
Bye, Mum. Is Mum dead? How long have we been doing this for now?
Long enough.
You're not my daddy.
Play Condemned, it's good. And ask questions that aren't shit. Like questions we can actually come up with interesting answers to, not just questions that you ask because you want to look impressive or something.
Also, just generally, who cares who we'd sleep with if we were gay?
Yeah.
You know who we'd sleep with? Other men.
And questions like, if you could choose between fucking your mum or sticking a pencil up your nose till it hit bone, what would you choose? What the hell kind of debate you think that's going to produce?
Kind of person who goes through a Mad Lib book and just puts cunt in every one. Just, the
Broader.
cunt went to the cunt and cunted the cunt.
Broader topics, more general. Alright.
Or, for my Twitter, point out news items. That
Yes.
can be a thing, because the questions are boring me, because you're all asking the same ones. But find out news items.
Yes, and you don't want to bore Gabriel.
You can be my little researchers.
You wouldn't like him when he's bored.
Yeah, I'm like the incredible entertain me. Ah, fun.
I'm done. Are you done?
Yeah, I need to eat.
Bye.
Fuck you, fuck everything.
Bye. We love you.
Toodaloo.
We love you. The underclasses.
Yeah, what would you call that? Like a hyper-realism? Like it's almost...
Well, I'd say the game is far from realistic.
Well,
it's
yeah,
got some really dumb plot elements.
No, I mean, I understand that. This is what I'm trying to wrap my head around, kind of what you'd call it. Visceral, probably, I suppose. I think is the word we came up for. It's just...
Well, I'd use that word to describe the combat, but we'll
yeah.
get to that later.
Weighty.
That certainly is a very true sort of mechanic. Yeah, this was... You thought this was an original Xbox game. This was actually a very early Xbox 360 game.
I did think it was original Xbox.
And I can see why you'd think that from the graphics.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tad rough.
It's looking a wee bit aged, isn't it?
I suppose that was 8 years ago now.
Follow me, bodies this way.
Anyway, if you're not familiar with the game, we are Special Agent Ethan Thomas, wank wank. And
Ooh, I'm getting too old for this.
we're at this point, all we know is we're investigating a dirty crime
The dirtiest.
Let's go, bodies.
in a dirty house,
What is the dirtiest of crimes? Like poo murder?
I guess.
I suppose you could do that. You could, like, take a dump, freeze it, and then stab someone with it, and then it would dissolve, and there'd be no evidence.
Except for a load of poo around.
Imagine, like, doing that just so the forensics guy can just slowly realize what's happened.
They go, oh my god, someone had the most drastic diarrhea attack in the history of medicine.
Just
It went straight through this guy's chest.
slowly, it's like, there's no way somebody froze a turd and stabbed somebody else with it. That's bullshit. That does not happen. I refuse to live on the planet where that fucking happens.
Because this was a while back, but it was early enough to have gotten into the habit of cutscenes that are playable so they can pretend it's not a cutscene. Yeah,
What do you suppose it was about? I mean, was it just timeliness being one of the earlier versions that made Half-Life 2 good, or what? Was there another factor that made Half-Life 2's a little more? Because this one really annoyed me because I'm slow behind this dude, and I don't know. Is it atmosphere?
Yeah.
Is it a matter of writing, or is it a gameplay thing?
I don't know what you're on about, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, what makes a? Because there's other games that do this sort of cutscene but not a cutscene kind of routine, like Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
And people liked it when it was Half-Life 2. Is that just because it was like one of the first ones, or
I'm not sure everyone liked it.
so you didn't?
I think it is nice to have a bit of a breather in that game. I think what Half-Life 2 does, it does give you a lot of stuff to play around with. And because it is introducing a physics engine into the minds of the populace. It sort of coincides the plot scenes with a lot of opportunities to fiddle around with the background details.
So I suppose that would be it succeeded because it was one of the first at bats and had like a little things to keep you occupied.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 1 to a lesser extent, a lot of the initial scenes basically framed around, hey, look at this cool stuff we made up. Check it
have
out.
an engine.
Have a damn good look. I mean, that was the whole point of the opening monorail, and you can get a bit of an advantage.
Oh yeah, I think that's the thing, because ultimately with all these detective things, you're not detecting. You just look.
No,
you're just interacting with highlighted objects.
Just finding, yeah. I mean, even L.A. Noir's just
Yeah.
highlighting objects.
Touch the thing, and they even tell you like, oh, we should go back there. You haven't touched all the things.
Yeah.
That and pretty much you only ever really have to doubt every motherfucker.
Well,
Like-
what you do is you accuse each one of lying in L.A. Noir, because you can back out of that. Because if you accuse them of lying, they say some. If they are lying, they'll say something really, really obvious.
Yeah,
Pertaining
you
to
got
an
something to back that up.
Yeah, they'll say, I bet you haven't got the slightest shred of evidence that I'm married to Hitler. And then you show them the Hitler marriage certificate.
Damn, it's just so charming.
But you can back out of a lie if you...
Can you?
If they don't say something that obviously indicates an item, you can back out of it. You can't back out of doubting or
Can you? I don't know.
truthing.
I swear you couldn't back. I don't know.
Any luck on the mug book
Swear you couldn't
searches?
back out of a lie.
The killer has the same mark.
I think the inherent problem with L.A. Noir is that you're asked to try to figure out if someone's lying, but you're looking at a performance from an actor.
Yeah.
So they're always lying.
Yeah,
So when they're like acting that they're lying, they always look incredibly obviously
Yeah.
like they're lying.
that, and if you don't have the obvious piece of evidence, just say doubt, and it's like, I think you're full of shit, and they go, ah, and then you get the little happy sound.
Oh, but it can catch you out.
Oh, sometimes, but I mean, fuck all people have ever told. Like, the first time I played it, I was like, oh, they have no reason to lie about that, and that was me thinking,
Ride in Half-Life, so you could see all the fun things they'd done with the Quake engine. and here is a corpse. That's a big ass phone. That's how old this game is.
Ew, it has buttons. What the fuck? Gross.
These mannequins remind me of something. Like the faceless ones.
The ones that you keep in your bedroom?
No. I think I've seen this particular motif somewhere. I can't... My mind is saying Neil Gaiman's Sandman comics.
Fuck, possibly. I don't know, for some reason they're making me think of,
Okay, here's the crime scene investigation aspect. Although it's a bit shit.
Find the cum.
It's a bit shit. It's just find the thing and click on the thing. I think it was much more improved in Condemned 2. With pretty much the only thing that was improved in Condemned 2.
It's a real shame, because I went back and played a little bit of this, and then it kind of... I mean, as much as I did enjoy the kind of hand-to-hand combat system, despite, I think, some flaws, or sort of almost because the flaws contributed to it in a weird way. Like, is there a game that's done decent crime scene investigation stuff?
I'd say Condemned 2 does. I mean, what it does is you have to look at a thing, and then you have to decide what it means from a list of stuff. I think that's the best approach.
Yeah.
I think that's the best approach you can take, because if you fail, you don't like lose the game or anything. But if you do know your stuff, if you do recognise that as a drag mark rather than a splatter mark, then.
Welcome to Creepy Crowshaw's Talking About Sex Hour.
I was about to think of a song to sing. You took it away from me.
Shouldn't you be doing that, like, you have to push a button to get the record thing to start. Like, you should do that before you push the button, and then you'd have a song that wasn't like... Because when we sit here and there's just dead silence, I get the feeling that you're waiting for me to do something.
Hello, we're playing Condemned.
Whee! Which is actually a pretty good game.
But we're playing it for a specific reason, because last week I had an idea to add more parameters to this format, where
Sweet, delicious parameters.
I decided to use keywords for future game choices. I took a book from my shelf and I randomly chose a page and I randomly chose a line and randomly chose a word from that line.
I helped.
The book in this case was Richard Dawkins' The God Delusion, and fittingly enough the word was truth. And my task then was to find a game that embodied truth or incorporated truth as a central theme. So my first thought, obviously, detective game. Well, my first thought was to do a trivia game, but that just...
Boy, that would have been fun.
That felt cheap.
Just me and Yahtzee playing You Don't Know Jack for an hour and 10 minutes.
But then, of course, a detective game, a hard-boiled search for the truth. And what better truth-based detective game than one that also centralizes a commitment to a grim, I won't say realism, but a certain amount of confrontational depiction of the